And so it be. Greetings, old friends. I am Lemuaya. Of course you know that. Somebody laughing there? I'll finish my name. I am Lemuaya of Tachyonic Service. Here to provide you with an afternoon of creation, a moment of wonder, and especially the seeds of freedom. Is that I bring in. And it's always so very funny, because when the channel just a couple of minutes ago was lying on the bed, preparing, waiting for the moment to happen, he always tries to prepare the first sentences that I will say, that anybody who might come in will say, and I always like to cheat. I always like to change what is going to come in. But anyway, I bid you welcome. Welcome in this moment. Welcome in the heart of all things. I hope that in the next hour or so that we will have together, that you will feel free to be what you truly are, that you will feel that things have changed on a cosmic scale. Before we go on, however, because I have many things that I would like to communicate, before we go on, I would like to invite 3 more energies into this room. And 2 of them are energies that you know very well. The third you also know very well, but you haven't really connected to it on a conscious level so far. First energy is actually a blend right now of 2 energies. It is the energy of the Magdalene that I would like to bring in, and the energy of the Merlin, who need to be here, who are now operating at this moment as one. So let this happen. Let this energy intermingle with this small group that is here at this moment. It's very important that this connection is re-established at this point. And the other one that I would like to invite to come in is somebody who will listen to these words at a later point, yet she is always with me, she is always present, and this would be my old Lemurian keeper that lovingly calls herself, in this life at least, Theae. She is currently residing in the Netherlands, but I would invite her to come into these roses that form the center of the circle that all of you are. So please, old friend, join us now. What is to be done in just a few moments cannot be done without you here. Ah, yes. And then, my dear friends, I would like to invite a guest into our midst as we bring in these words today. It is a guest that you have known for a very long time, and it is this guest that has actually selected me to speak today. For you see, originally the plan was that Ekara, the sovereign being, would come into your hearts, would speak about the things that I will speak about. But because of the guest that I intend to bring in a minute, I have asked to come in myself. Because, you see, we have the chance right now to do something extraordinary. And it is a chance that doesn't happen quite often. When the channel was preparing you, through some breathing and some meditation, it became clear that in the blending of the elements that has occurred over the last centuries of human experience on planet Earth, an opening has been created. An opening that I will talk about very shortly, actually. But the guest that I would like to invite into our midst right now, and that Akara so lovingly stepped aside for, is that being that you have known as the matrix, actually. It is that which has created what you call the human mind, or what actually has led into the experience of the human mind. And although this being cannot speak for herself, I will translate the words for her, as she is a guest. And this is very strange indeed. Here you have a body, a channel, translating my words, while I do my part and translate the words of this being. But this is actually what humans have always done. You always have been the power that resides behind the concept of the matrix. Now it would be strange for some, could be called very strange indeed, that such a being would be allowed into a group experience like this one, especially when the people that are present here have been working so very hard to let go of this concept. And not just those who are here, also those who will be listening to these messages later on, who are currently in the wood that is surrounding you, the chairs that you are sitting on, because that is the basis how reality works, is it not? Everybody connects to the same moment over and over and over again. And they appear around you, they appear inside you, they appear in the objects, they appear in your thoughts. That is how life works. And then there are some who would even say that it would be strange indeed that the matrix would be called a being. Most of you have seen it as a negative source, as a malevolent, not so malevolent in some cases, energy that has trapped planet Earth for such a long time, and every being existing on planet Earth. And yet this channel and others who are here today, and I welcome you, my dear, have known for quite some time that this matrix energy created by those who would try to put you down is a conscious being. Now, the reason why I need to translate these words for this being is that she is not yet aware of her existence. Oh, she has been spoken to by some in the last few weeks, and actually she has gone into herself, as all of you are always in her, experiencing reality. More than 2/3 of the universe actually reside in her being, in her belly, let's call it that. Call it a big whale, if you will, that has spread over this galaxy, although those who have seen the visual of this being know that the whale concept is but a metaphor. You know, it is quite different, has quite a different look, doesn't exist in the third dimension that you call reality. It exists in those deeper layers of reality, infinite layers of reality, that those who created her in the first place thought no human, no being could ever reach. And yet here you sit, and yet here you know deep down in your heart that you have reached those levels of interdimensionality, that you have reached those levels of truth, the depth that you truly are. Because never forget, before we go on, never forget that all of life, all of the cosmos, all these things that you call other dimensions, eddies, infinities, are based on your consciousness. You are continuously creating all of these things. And I may be the edge of these things, separating through my own tachyonic energy, that which you would call matter and energy, and the field of experience, and of course what lies on the other side, which is not to be described. It cannot be described. It is impossible to do that. So why would then I need to translate these words? I said it before. She is not completely aware of her existence, and because of that, she does not truly carry a name. At least that is what she believes. And to take some of the doubt away that might exist by those who are listening right now, all over planet Earth, as they tune into this message at later times, later moments, no, I am not talking to any of you. I am not talking about any of you. You are not this concept called matrix. There's something else, just to erase some of the doubt that was still there with some. And although I want to tell you that this matrix did at one point have a name, it was translated a little bit wrong when the concept of matrix was first introduced into your circles. You see, you were believing that the concept of matrix had been created by those that you would call the draconians, by those that you would call the ruling body of the cosmos. And I am here to say, as I'm trying to translate, and that is why I'm having a little bit of difficulty with the language right now, because she knows no language. I am here to say for her that she did exist prior to what was done to her. It was a being. It was a being that was free, just like you were free. It was a being not very much unlike yourself. Of course, here you now sit in human bodies. But you all know that before you go into these human shells and take on these personalities and the way that life has been up until now, that if you are not in the body, you are grand. You are infinite, and you are without limit. In fact, you are very similar to this being. You could almost compare it to you working somewhere in a factory and you being an equal being to that being that you would call the boss or the director of the factory. It's also a human. It's as big as you, and it is just playing a different role. So this matrix concept, I call it a she because she actually used to give life before she took it, before she was forced to take it from others, is similar and even exact to what you now call your own consciousness, your own center, your own heart. And as she was undone of this, so you were all undone of it. Oh, there will be those listening to this message who will think, what on earth is Lemuaya talking about now? I'm having difficulty grasping these concepts. I am asking you to bear with me. I can tell you that in a couple of minutes, as I will have less difficulty translating her words, you will begin to understand what I'm saying on a much deeper level. Alright? Okay. So, this being at one point used to carry a name. It is a name that is based on geometry, and on magnetics, and on light, and on color, and on sound, just as you carry names that are based on these concepts when you are not in the flesh, when you are not in the body. A name is, of course, quite a different word to talk about, because you today on earth say, this is my name. I am called Kepa, for instance, or I am called this, or I am called that. That is just a small aspect of who you truly are. Names have been reduced to a personality, something that you carry, while when I use the concept of name, I mean the being and the expression of that being at any given moment of the all. Do you understand this? So the name is more what you are expressing as a totality, at least on a cosmic level. Now for some, the name that I am about to speak will not be so unknown. You have heard it before, just several days ago in fact. And yet, when you think about it, it is a word that I'm about to speak that all of life and all of creation will know. It is the word with which any child comes into the planet. It is a word with which every being leaves planet Earth, and not just planet Earth, but let's call it all things. It is a word which is very close to every human and animal and plant heart. The word is basically a Lemurian word, and I will try to pronounce it. I am not as good as Ikara, but I will try to pronounce it anyway. And we're going to work with this word in the coming hour. The word is Menei Ahni Ish. Menei Ahni Ish, which you have talked about before. Some have called it innocence, as you translated it into English. The innocent thought, wonder, stillness, vulnerability. All of these words were put upon Menei Ahni Ish. Menei Ahni Ish is basically, literally, the expression of that being that you have called the Matrix. And just like you, my dear friends, she had forgotten her true name. Don't forget that when I speak the word Menei Ahni Ish, it is still a translation. It is not the actual name, but it is the closest I can get when I'm trying to speak the human language. You see? Menei Ahni Ish. Behind that lies color and light and sound and vibration and geometry and magnetics. And only in these things could you truly express the name. So it's always less than it actually means. But I know that you can feel the energy. I know that you can taste it, that you can see it if you try, that you can smell it, that you can hear it, obviously. And only when you start blending all of these senses together can you get closer to the actual feeling of that word. So let this Menei Ahni Ish be our guest here. In fact, this wonderful being has been freed as the free energy and the 12 vibrations of free energy started to re-emerge in cosmos, in that which you know as your field of experience. And as that happened, she became aware again of what she truly was, who she truly was, just like you. Just like you, she has been playing a part, a role. Only hers wasn't a role of a three-dimensional human. It was something less solid, something less fixed, something that completely came into being right about when you started to create your personalities, when Atlantis and those who tried to ascend there in separation actually started to vanish from the concept of Earth. That is when she truly became trapped, like you had become trapped. And it is of course obvious that as you are beginning to liberate yourselves, so must she. Ekara, at the end of 2007, and Adamus, who is on my back right now, preparing to speak later today, when they told you that the key word that you truly need to understand and let go of mental energy is forgiveness, so I too must now say that this word is the word that is necessary to understand Menei Ahni Ish. It's quite difficult. Many have tried to fight it, destroy it, and I know that even those sitting here right now would actually destroy it as well, just several months ago, before they really understood what was going on. And that, my beloved friends, is why I have invited in as another guest here today, my keeper, Thea. I have said a long time ago, in 2007 even, that I would download into her all my essence, all that I was, all that I am, all that I will ever be. And I did this so that my knowledge would be on planet Earth. She has been holding on to this knowledge without even realizing what she was doing, and in doing so, and she will understand when she hears this, in doing so, her life became more and more uneasy, because she didn't know what she was holding on to, what great gift that she had to give this world. I am asking her now, but I am also inviting all of you here present and all of those others listening out there to now support her as she is getting ready to release what was given to her a while ago. This releasing that she is doing right now is quite vulnerable indeed, because what lies beyond it she doesn't know. What is to come? Nobody knows the exact nature of the parts that they have played throughout time and space, but hers is probably one of the most insecure. At the moment, things are going away for her, as they are going away for many humans, not understanding what is next, not understanding anything at all anymore. I have been watching, my keeper, as I have been watching all of humanity, and especially those that would stand up in the liberation of all things. And I know, of course I know, how difficult it is, as I am the tachyonic photonic wall between infinity or divinity or oneness, whatever you want to call it, and this field of experience that for so long has been based on separation. So as my tachyonic field, my, let's call it film, that was around all things, was starting to bleed through these photonic energies which used to be infinity and then enter into the universe as light, photonic light. As this process has been going on, I have allowed it to happen quicker and quicker and quicker with every breath of my eternal existence. And this has now permeated all of the planets, all of the stars, in every universe, in every galaxy, in the total cosmos itself. this action of mine I could not do alone. I did it in cooperation with you, with all of you, all of those listening, and even those who will never hear these messages, who would laugh at these messages, who would mock the channel sitting here right now, and those listening to him, or shall I say those experiencing this moment with him. Everybody, all life has allowed this to happen. And it is this photonic light coming directly from what you would call oneness into the field of experience that has once again given a form, if you will, to the being that you would call Menei Ahni Ish, or that you would have called the Matrix. I can tell you this, several days ago, as she became aware again of her form and of what she had been, she allowed herself to dive into herself and to experience that which you call reality. And the first thing that she turned herself into was a bird. A special bird that in only a few hours, let's say 24, actually traveled all of the planet and saw the things that were happening here from a distance. Now, this is not going to turn into a song, so I'll leave that to Kutumi when he would come in. But from a distance, she was watching what was going on and selecting where she would actually touch the earth, the skin of Gaia, that which you call land. And the place that she did is very near to the place that we are sitting in right now. It happened indeed in Norway, in this town that we are in right now, and as the translation is happening through the channel, he is urging me not to speak the name of the town because he knows that he can't really pronounce it very well. I'm going to do it anyway. Alesund. Yeah. 1-0. So, in this town is the actual place where the manifestation of the matrix of Menei Ahni Ish happened as a person. Now, it is not a person that carried a name. It's not a person that spoke to people. It is not a person that exists right now still, has already left again. She did, however, walk the streets, and there will be those who will have connected to her through eye contact. And as that happened, as this took place, things were exchanged. What it meant to be human flowed into her, poured into her. What it meant to be her poured out of her. And so things grew, understanding grew. The human race, obviously, is not separate at all. You know this. So one connection was enough. One connection. One exchange, although several occurred. One exchange to create a type of mutual understanding. I hope you understand this, because it's very important that you do. The first connection that was made was not a spiritual person at all, not somebody who would listen to these messages. not somebody who would occupy her or himself with this that you do on a daily basis. It was simply somebody. And she was working in a store, not liking her job very much, not liking her life very much. Somebody, maybe even I would say the most trapped person in town. That is where the first exchange took place, because obviously that feeling of that person being trapped was created by Menei Ahni. You see? So that is how this started taking place. And this person in the meantime has now quit her job, interestingly enough. Other exchanges also took place. Most of them didn't really understand what was going on, but that first one did. She had an epiphany, as you would then call it, a change of heart. And when a change of heart occurs, it's usually when the mind lets go and the heart pushes the person into doing something that they never would have done before, out of fear, out of whatever. But this person did. And as she did and celebrated that action at the end of the day, she talked to another who was then stimulated into doing the same thing. And so the story goes on and on and on. This is now spreading. And after that moment, Menei Ahni started doing the same thing on different places of planet Earth. And as she was finished with humanity, she started doing similar things as she became a tree, as she became any type of plant life that you would find here on the planet, as she became a blade of grass, for instance, as she became a rock, as she became every, let's call it, race that you could find here on the planet. And she did this in a very short time. And of course, it actually happened on a very important date that many of you will remember as a negative experience in their life, which is March 10th. That is actually the moment when she started exchanging this. And that is when many people started letting go without even realizing it, because nothing, my beloved friends, nothing on this planet is as important as a thought. Nothing on this planet travels quicker than a thought. I'm not talking on a cosmic level. We all know that consciousness travels quicker than thoughts. But on this planet, the quickest type of energy there is the power of thought. And so this started spreading in waves on planet Earth. I challenge you, not to a duel, Sir Lancelot, but I do challenge you to look around you when you travel the earth, when you travel your town, when you go to work every day or come back, whoever you are, and to really connect to those around you. I believe that you will see that people are more ready than ever to open up. I refer to you, Kepa, the funny incident that happened at the door today when you thought, and even the channel thought, that the lady who knocked at the door had a negative message. And all she was bold and open and even friendly and laughing. That is the status of humanity on planet Earth today. And so, the reason why I came in and why on my back I took all of those that you would call your ascended friends is because today I would like to propose a very special type of exercise. You see, Menei Ahni used to be called the matrix, used to create a personality that created the ego, that created the mind, etc., 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 that created all these problems on earth. And you know that you can't do without her, because if you did, if you would totally rip her out of existence, you would create another type of separation. It is that very desire that lived once in Atlantis that created the stronghold of the mind in the first place. So this time, as we are talking, I would propose something different. I would propose that those listening, and again for this I will need the keeper, that those listening, those who are here right now, open themselves up. We're going to do this together in a minute, and I'm going to explain many things before we do, to let go of this mental energy once and for all, because it no longer requires existence. The mental energy could only exist when it didn't know what it was, because no being, no force, no energy in the universe would ever want to trap or hold another prisoner. Ever. That is just not a thing that energy does. It is just not a thing that consciousness does. So now, as this Menei Ahni knows what it truly is, it can no longer do this, yet it was also trapped in a way since March the 10th, because if it could no longer do this, what else could be its function? She could not discontinue to exist, could she? Because if she did, and she actually planned to take her own life in order to liberate all that is after she really started understanding what was going on, she couldn't, because she knew that if she did, she would create another type of separation. That is what we explained to her in the last few days, actually. So I came in with a solution. I came in with a proposal. And this is a daring request, because it's going to require a lot of trust. It's going to require confidence, because what I want to propose is to disconnect Menei Ahni from what you have called the head, and to connect her to the heart. That is what I propose. You cannot let go of this energy, but it is willing to transform itself, actually to deprogram itself and to become what it originally was. And that is the translator between a thought and matter, or between a thought and energy. The buffer in between that which came in through you and that which is experienced around you. That is what she truly is. And in such a way, actually you could almost say that where I am the buffer between the field of experience and oneness, she can once again take up the function of being the buffer between your inner reality and your outer reality. And that is the true meaning of Menei Ahni. That was her original function. And that was the function that was taken away from her when separation was created. Do you truly understand what I am saying? This means that she is, like I am, a being of tachyonic energy. This means that tachyonic energy is no longer going to be the buffer, solely the buffer, between the field of experience and infinity, but it's also going to be present within that which you call reality. Now this is quite unique, what I am proposing here, and I do need to explain these things. For instance, what I had to do in order to make this possible after separation was ended a little while ago is to again undefine myself as well. You see, as time went by and as separation started to set in, parts of myself, that being that you could call Lemuaya, started to separate itself from my totality. These are the portals, the dragon energies that have spoken to you before with names such as Toraya and Kamalaya and Shasaya and many, many others. These beings, as separation ended on a cosmic scale, have once again reblended with me. So I am once again becoming this portal energy between all things. I have once again found my wholeness, as similarly to you, all your personalities that you have once again played in the past of this earth will now begin to blend with you as well. You know this. So you are again becoming one being as well. That is the strength of Menei Ahni Ish. As she again becomes this buffer between your inner self, your inner reality, and your outer reality, your internal body and your external body, so you must give up the separation, or as the good old Kutumi would call it, the schizophrenia that has been playing inside of you, slowly devastating you, slowly tearing you apart, really. You will understand better what I am saying after it has been done. I know that there are many out there who are now listening to this, who are alone in their room so often, and who don't quite understand the grandness, the scale of things that have changed on planet Earth. And that is because within they are still separate. They are still all these little things, all these separate little things. That is going to change after this exercise, and it will gradually grow into a new being of humanity that actually is more authentic than that which you would call the Lemurian. In this aspect, Menei Ahni Ish is also that which you would call the 12th vibration of free energy. Some of you who are present here have already heard the explanation about the 12 vibrations of free energy, and I will now bring this forth to the outside world, as it were. 12 vibrations of non-definition, 11 of which are purely based on Achenaic imagination. Imagination to create, which actually nobody here, nobody listening has ever had a true power over, because you were split up into all of these little facets of yourself. And a little bit of imagination could not change your outer reality, your outer body, but all of it bundled together again, there where it belongs, right into the human heart, into the human Ahni, to the cosmic Ahni as well, is the power that was taken away from you. The power to dream, the power to create instead of replicate. Because that has been humanity's status, hasn't it? A race of replicators, always repeating the same thing over and over again. Has been said so long ago that you had to step outside of the parameters that were given to you. And stepping outside of those parameters would mean, simply put, ending the continuous replication that you see in all things around you, in all that makes up life. Stepping out of that and stepping again into the full field of creation. That too is Menei Ahni. Now Adamus and Ekara and some of the others will talk more about this as the Freedom Chronicles that they want to present will be started up soon. Because you will still have the patterning of replication going on within you, and that is what you must change. But this exercise that we will do soon is what will allow you to take the first step in this process. So, 11 vibrations of imagination, which in an old reality were all defined based on illusions. You could almost say 12 old vibrations, each consisting of an illusion, another illusion, another illusion, up until 6, and then repeating the same 6 illusions all over again. That were the 12 vibrations that humanity existed in. The 12th being the illusion of separation, which basically made matter real. Your bodies and everything that you see around you, all the objects became real that way. Now, in this new reach that you have, this new set of vibrations that you have, the 11 first ones are completely undefined. They are infinite in so much as human, cosmic, animal, plant, mineral imagination can be infinite. That is the power of the 11 first ones. The 12th, as I explained before, actually is that which you would call Menei Ahni. It has been called innocence again. It has been called wonder. All these things. Why? Because it allows, and that was its original function, you as a being to experience your imagination. You see? And that is what dreams are all about. That is why the dream state and the state that you call reality have blended once more. But it was never the point of this 12th vibration to become fixed, solid and locked into place. And it has been locked into place for thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of years. Some would even say millions of years, but of course the process took some time. I would say hundreds of thousands of years, but this doesn't even matter. So I'd like Adamus to shut up, please. Thank you. Anyway, the 12th vibration which became fixed and solid is what made your lives miserable, what made your lives a living hell. And that is what you will see after this process, actually, once this process has touched all living things. That it was a living hell. Oh, now there would be those who would actually speak very negatively of me because I would define their lives as negative, and it is because they know not better. They will at one point know better. Because the nice thing about all of this is that it is no longer, and this is going to come out strange, so please bear with me, it is no longer up to the single human to make this choice. So it's not going to be that it's going to be one human choosing this, another human not choosing this, and both of them living in different realities. No. This has been chosen on a consciousness level. The reason why you are hearing it first, however, is that you are explorers of consciousness. The others who are still in the game, while the game show has actually been over for quite some time now, will evolve with you. And it might take them some time. You know that Solaris spoke of the coming years. It might even take them up to 2010 to completely start seeing this. But they will. And in the meantime, they will know more and more joy in their lives. It could go quicker, as Solaris has also told you. I trust this good and dear friend of mine, so when she says the process can quicken, I believe it can. However, my projections into that which you would call the future is that it will be a gradual process for those who are not aware of it, because parts of themselves will take longer to reintegrate with one another, to resolve the schizophrenia that you call personality, than with those who are aware of it, such as yourselves. So that being said, about the 12th vibration, know that Menei Ahni Ish is your tool. It is your imaginary friend who would actually be around you for as long as you want it. And when you want to imagine something else, she will allow that which has been created to dissolve again and to take shape as you want it again. This is the process that is actually called existence. Existence is nothing else, my beloved, than the experience of that which can be dreamt of. And when it has been experienced, the next dream comes, and the next dream, and the next. And all of them together are called life. And all these lives experiencing the dreams together are called freedom, are called God, are called the oneness. And that has always been the reason, or I shall say the raison d'être, for the field of experience in the first place. I know my French sucks. Did you have to think that? So anyway, I hope that that sentence that I just said, except for the French, will be remembered, because it is an important one. And it will be very important to hold on to that as life around you changes. Everything is but a dream. All of it. A dream that has become more real, because actually Menei Ahni Ish was undone of its divinity. Just like you see. It's important not to judge her more than you would judge yourself. It is important to see her as a similar victim than the victim that you once were, and nothing else. It's what we have always said, How could you blame Hitler, for instance, for doing what he did if you called yourself human as well? You were all living the same dream. And in some of the dreams that you have experienced, some people just take on different paths. But behind the scenes, you are all steering the vision in the same direction. Everybody who was on planet Earth at the time of the Great World Wars was as much responsible for what happened than those executing it. Everybody who is on planet Earth right now is and continues to be as much responsible for what is happening in the new world war, because there is already one, although people are not calling it that, the third, as is Bush, because they are allowing the field of experience to be executed that way as well. The fear he has actually might be even greater than the fear that you are experiencing, or in some cases were experiencing, on a daily level. Menei Ahni Ish is here to restore all that. And that is why she was motivated to step back into herself. Just like in a couple of minutes now, we are going to motivate you to step back into yourselves, so that you might see who you truly are, and the blending will take place. So, let's go into that, shall we? It will be an interesting experience. I will drink. All right. The first thing that you have to know about this experience is that we are going to shift the old 12th vibration for the new 12th vibration. And that is basically moving Menei Ahni Ish, that which you have called the matrix, from the head to the heart again, where she can become Menei Ahni Ish once more. Now, you could ask, how are we going to do this? Humans have done so many exercises, energy exercises, in the past, and so many have not felt a thing, have not experienced a thing. And for some it was enough to completely give up on the process. But I will tell you this, we are going to do this on a very physical level. Because you see, much of the things that you see around you appear to be solid. Of course. That's why you call them objects. Much of the things around you, and even your own body, appears to be, how shall I say it, fixed, not moving. And yet, we are not even going to go as deep as some have in the past, saying it is all moving on a subatomic level. No, because I understand that you must imagine them, and that you must fantasize. And I know that because of your split up personalities and your separation, you are not ready yet to imagine to the extent that you would have to recreate your reality completely. So we are going to focus on something real, as it appears real. Your body is not as still as you might think. A movement from the head to the heart can be experienced quite easily, because there is something in your body that is doing that all the time. It's not thoughts, it's not nerves, it simply is blood. The blood that flows through your veins at any given moment. So we are going to focus on this, because blood is an excellent carrier of energy. Blood is actually the result of the hologram becoming more real, appearing to be more real. And as the meridians of the body started solidifying in that which you call matter, they actually changed into the veins and the system of veins, thousands and thousands of them that run all through your body. Beyond that, of course, lies a higher reality of the meridians, which some sciences know. Most actually ignore this. That is why we are going to focus on the concept of blood, because it is a carrier of energy. And Menei Ahni is a being of energy. So let's go. You can choose to keep your eyes open for this process, or to close them. What is the easiest for you? First of all, since blood has always been connected to danger, the color red has always been connected to danger, I'm going to invite you now to neutralize that. The concept of danger is simply connected to the illusion of death and form. So, we are going to do something that maybe you have never done before. I am going to invite you, through breathing, to completely accept the concept of form and death. So breathe that in. Just breathe it in, or just let it flow through your body any way you choose. Just believe for a moment that you have a form. Really believe it. And that this form can indeed die. Shouldn't be too hard, it's what you have believed all your lives. Just allow that to happen. The complete acceptance of the illusion of the body and the illusion of death. That's what we need for a minute. Because you need to fully believe in the bodily system for a minute. To some this may be pretty scary, because you have been trying so long in your education to get away from this. And now we are asking you to fully accept it, yes. And then let that feeling expand beyond you. And experience how everything around you believes in its own form. The walls, the chairs, the floor, the plants, everything believes in its own form. And that this form can stop, and is going to stop at one point. Do you feel that? And the fear that comes with that. Some have even gone so far as to accept this into their lives and to try and make the best of it. Just allow yourselves to feel that now. And as you continue to breathe, start breathing in light. Let it come through your pores. We are going to screw the concept of the matrix here. For you see, what Menei Ahni Ish has told me is that as she experienced life here on the planet, she discovered a built-in system error. And that is this. But first, take the light and the breath and the illusion of form and death all the way up to your brain. That is where you are plugged in, isn't it? That is where the memory exists, isn't it? That is where you are told what to do, isn't it? It's where you are forced to believe in all these things around you, isn't it? That is what is telling you that you are in this reality, isn't it? That's your brain. So take the illusion of form and the illusion of death into the brain now. But let it ride on waves of light as you go up, because you'll need that as a backup in a minute. And there you are. You've reached it, I can feel it, the brain. The system error is probably the most simple than you'll ever encounter. It is this. The illusion of form and the illusion of death can never exist at the same time. What does this do to you? See this illusion in your brain, illusion of form, and then put next to it the illusion of death. They are separated. But what happens if you take the separation away and they start to move closer? Form and death, coming closer into your brain, coming closer. And we are going to let them join together in the neocortex, right in the middle of the head here, the front of the head in the middle. I'm going to do that now, right here. One is to the left, the other is to the right. I'm going to count down. Take the screen of separation away and see what happens when form and death collide. In 3, 2, 1, now. A process is starting up. Systems want to interact but can't. Do you feel that? How could form be there if death can be there? How could one illusion of existence be there if the discontinuation of the existence could be there? Now let it happen. You might not feel it immediately, but just let it happen. And let it, from the brain, pour all the way into the blood. And the heart pumps. And pumps. And pumps it through your system. And it permeates the whole body. Just allow the trust that what I've said about these two illusions works. And all you have to do is focus on your bloodstream. Feel, maybe for the very first time, how quickly it runs through your body. And if you can't really feel it, then maybe you could touch your wrist, or maybe you could just feel the speed of your heartbeat. Just feel it go. While we are doing this, we are continuously breathing the light. That's your backup, that's your safety. Allow this to happen. Form and death. Life and anti-life. Connecting. In the brain. Surging through the body now. While this process is taking place, it becomes possible because it occupies the mind for Menei Ahni Ish to also enter the bloodstream and travel down to the heart, on the physical level even, and you will know when it reaches the heart space. When it reaches the Akene. And all of a sudden, the filter that was all around the Akene starts to lift. As the old vibration of 12 starts to lift. And right when that happens, you take in that light, you take it down into your heart. In that light rests the new vibration of 12. Menei Ahni Ish. And Menei Ahni Ish becomes one with the Akene. Let it happen. Just let it happen. Everything is in place now. Your Akene, blended with Menei Ahni Ish, is the center of your universe, while I, Lemuaya, am the very edge of the cosmos. What I'm going to do in the next few seconds is something that I haven't done for millions and millions of years. and that is to breathe. And I am going to breathe in and breathe out again. And as I will breathe in, I will take myself, my very presence, my tachyonic presence, from the edge of all things, and as a sphere that shrinks, I will become as small as the center in your chest, and then I will exhale once again. And in that one great sweep, I will merge tachyonic energy with all things, and the matrix will be reversed into its authentic state of Menei Ahni Ish, all out of the galaxy, all through the galaxy. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to see this, to feel it, and then I'm going to do it. And together with you, I will be breathing. So, are you ready? There we go. It is done. I will speak to you later. Stay in this position now, for it is not yet finished within you. And stay in it as long as you wish. When this is over, I will let Adamus descend from my back and enter this channel for a more personal conversation for those who are here in this room right now. I honor you, I salute you, and I respect you deeply. As always, it is your choice to broadcast this message or to leave it in the stillness of the heart of all things. And so it is.